Hello, Mero here, and today we're going to go over some tips and tricks for Moonstone Island. Alright, today I'm going to show you how to craft a potion in Moonstone Island. So for starters, you'll need empty glass bottles. You can make them using sea glass, which is a drop you get from spirits. Then you will also need ash, which you get by putting wood into a furnace. It takes 3 wood for 1 ash. Alright, and then once you have your ash and your bottles, then you can choose 2 ingredients. And the potion at the end will be the combined stats of those ingredients. So if I were to take and put a flax flower in, which has plus 20 stamina, plus 10 tame, and a moss ball in, which has plus 20 stamina, plus 10 hit points, plus 1 power, and plus 1 speed, then I will get stamina 40, hit points 10, power 1, speed 1, and tame 10. One thing that's good to get going early is the spirit barn, because once you have the spirit barn, you can put excess spirits that you have inside of it, and you can get drops from them. So from water types, you get sea glass. From psychic types, you get dream drop. From electric types, you get sparks. From poison types, you get poison. And from earth types, you get clay. And fire spirits will drop a fireball. And dark spirits will drop dark matter. You can then use these drops on the anvil to create protection charms for the islands that cause damage when you're on them. And there are different strengths of these charms. So there's the beginning copper charm, which will provide 30% damage reduction. There is the iron charm, which will give 50% damage reduction. And then there is the moonstone charm, which will give 100% damage reduction. So to make a sheet of each of these, you will need 3 ingots of each material. So you would need 3 copper ingots, 3 iron ingots, and 3 moonstone ingots for each sheet. The iron charm is a good starter for just getting around the islands, because that 50% reduction in damage goes a long way while exploring. To get iron ingots, you will need 3 pieces of iron ore. For copper ingots, 3 pieces of copper ore. And for moonstone ingots, you'll need 3 moonstones. Now, at the end of the season, if you happen to have plants that are only partially grown that you don't want to lose when the season changes, you can use the staff to complete their growth cycle. So it does use stamina, but it's worth it if you have important crops that you don't want to lose, because once it turns to the new season, all of your crops will die and they don't drop seeds. I learned the hard way at the end of my first spring. Each season will offer different harvestable items and different seeds and the ability to grow different ingredients. So it's good at the start of each season to go around and see what the new ingredients are that you can harvest. Definitely make sure to collect seeds, because gardening is the best way to maintain crops. Another way in which the staff is useful in game is you can use it to grow ladder plants, which you can then use to climb vertical spaces and reach areas you may not have been able to reach before. To find mine shafts in game, you have to break large rocks. You can find mine shafts on any of the islands, including the main island. If you break a rock that is above a mine shaft, it will fall away to unveil a hole with a ladder. Once you go down, in the upper left-hand corner, it'll tell you the number of chests that are in that mine, so you don't have to waste your time looking for chests that may or may not exist. One thing that's nice about finding mines, especially on islands that cause damage, is you do not receive damage when you're down in the mines. It's a way to heal up. You can go down and eat to restore stamina, and you also can encounter spirits down there. So if your goal is to battle spirits, but you don't want to stay on the surface where you are accumulating damage, you can find a mine shaft and go down where it's safe and continue looking for spirits, interacting with spirits, as well as mining, and you don't have to worry about the damage that that island usually causes. Dungeons are another important part of Moonstone Island. The difficulty of a dungeon depends on the difficulty of the island. The main island dungeon is obviously fairly easy, but as you get to the further out islands that have higher level spirits, the dungeons become much more difficult. So dungeons also will tell you the number of chests. As you can see up in the corner, this dungeon still has 1 chest. If you are in a dungeon, make sure you have the balloon equipped, because if you do not, you will fall if you run to the edge. Now, dungeons are important because once you complete the dungeon and beat the boss at the end, you then gain access to a tree that gives you a permanent stamina boost, which is very helpful in the long run with exploring. In dungeons and mines, you can find chests, which the chest can hold an array of different items, including gems, moonstones, and crafting blueprints, as well as clothing. So definitely make sure to grab any chest you encounter. Another thing that's important in this game is to make sure that you are in bed before a certain time at night, or else you will fall asleep wherever you are, which will affect your stamina for the next day. So at the beginning of each season, each island will renew a couple of resources, one of those being moonstones. So at the beginning of every season, every island will then have a new moonstone that you can go and collect, as well as the arches on the islands will renew and you can get a new talisman, which are helpful in powering up your spirits. So I definitely recommend once a new season starts to go out and explore the islands and collect moonstones and claim the talismans from the arches. Alright everybody, I think that's going to do it for this tips and tricks video. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more like it, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye!